Hello, Connie here with Music Mentory. Today we're going to talk about putting the melody and the harmony together. Let's get started. Okay, in the workbook, which the link for the workbook is in the description below. If you don't have a workbook, make sure you have manuscript paper. You can download that anywhere. It's pretty easy to find. It's the music paper. Okay, this is the page we're on. Page 73. It says melody meets harmony. Here's our instructions. Because we did that whole first half of this workbook is on harmony, on how to construct the chord progressions and cadences. And then we did the melody just in the last couple weeks on the motif and how to develop a motif. Now we need to put the two together to make a song on the piano with both hands. First, we're going to choose a key signature. For simplicity, we're going to use C major, no sharps, no flats. Choose one of your motifs from earlier. We'll come up with one. Then we need to do the Roman numeral harmony for a parallel period, which we've done in previous videos. Develop your motif to match with the harmony. That's where it gets tricky. Use sequence and inversion for this exercise. Okay, so we're only going to use those two development techniques. Those were on the last video. If you don't know how to do those, just check out the last video. Now remember, very important when you're putting harmony and melody together, you have creative license. Sometimes it just doesn't quite fit. You need to change like a note, or you need to change the order of a couple things. It's not this perfect cut and paste formula. You've got creative license to make it fit and make it flow. Okay? All right. So let's start. I'll use the black because we need to just put in, look, bar lines. We don't have bar lines. We're going to have 4 measures on the top. And always do this in pencil. I probably don't need to say that, but if you're like me, there's erasing involved. So fortunately here on the screen, it's easy for me to erase. All right, we are in the key of C. So no sharps, no flats. We're going to have a 4/4 time signature. Our parallel period is going to start on a 1 and end on a 5. And this is going to end on a 5/1 because I like the perfect authentic cadence. 1, let's go 2, 4, 5. Then these two just copy 1, 2. See, that was easy. Okay. Now we'll change up the notes, maybe blue. Okay. So the chord here, I'm just going to write in the chords C, E, G. A 2 chord is D, F, A. A 4 chord, F is common and A is common. And then if we move this D just down 1, see how that stays really close? Handy. All right, and then a 5 chord could be B, D, G. All right, then we copy down here. The 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 5 chord. Oh, and I'm going to put this, let me erase. I'm going to hop this down to root position. Just because to be a perfect authentic cadence, both chords have to be in root position. And then 1. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can. Okay. Here is the motif. It's one that we did on the video before. I'm going to start on this high E as a quarter note. 1. Skip down a 3rd. And then 3 and 4. I believe that just goes in steps. Let's listen to that. And here it is with the harmony. That works. We even have a little passing tone in there. These two. Then we're going to sequence it. Remember, sequence is just starting the same, doing the same thing, just moving it up or down. Let's move down. If we're going to match this D chord, let's start on a D. D, then we skip down a third. B's not part of the chord, but it follows our thing. Let's see how it sounds. And then A is part of the chord, which on beat 3, 3 is the second strongest beat. So strong beat is on the chord, second strongest beat is on the chord. I think this will sound fine. And then it ends on a F, which is on the chord. Okay, let's hear that so far. I think that sounds great. Okay, sequencing, let's just follow this pattern. If we move down, we went down in a step. E, down a step to D. Let's go down a step to C because C is part of this 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're doing our sequence part. All right, here it is so far. It ends kind of on that E that's not part of the chord, so it doesn't really, but that's all right, that's a weak beat. The only ones that are part of the chord are here and this really weak beat. I think it sounds okay. This is going to end in a question. Let's do inversion. So if we invert it and we go up backwards, we got to start on, hey, look, we've gone E, down a step to start on D, down a step to start on C. What if we go down a step from here, just kind of follow the same pattern, but we invert it? And I kind of know where I want to end. I want to end on either a B or a D because this, I know this note right here is going to copy up here. We're going to be on E. So we've got to work this up, back, so it leads into this E. So preferably I'd like to end on a D because you go D, E, it just leads into that. So what can we do here? 1, 2. We're going to have to take our creative license here. I'm not just going to go a skip and a step, because that'll sound like too big of a leap up to that E. It's like I'm forcing it. What if we just outline this G chord? D, G, B, and we have a little passing tone C. See, that sounds good alone. Here's that whole line. I love it. See how it's a great half cadence. It ends as a question. And then we're just going to copy 1, 2, 3, and 4. Sequence it down. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, what do? We got a 5. We could maybe do that inversion kind of idea again. Start with, we're on F. Let's go D. And we haven't talked about 7th chords, but I'm going to add in the F. It's not part of the 5 chord, but it is part of the 5/7, a dominant. So it will sound okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. That puts us right on our leading tone, the B right here. It just wants to resolve to the C. Okay, I'm going to play the whole thing. You ready? Sweet, isn't it? Kind of charming. It's a very, very simple, believe me, we've got more things that we can do with this, but it's a really, really simple piece. It reminds me of something that my piano students would have in their method books. So that was fun. Did you see how easy that was? With all the skills that we have so far, we used sequence and inversion with some creative liberty on that inversion and spreading it out. It didn't follow the pattern exactly. That's okay. All right, I think that's great. We could call it let's call it Simplicity by Connie Cullum. There we go. All right. I'll be famous one day. Hope you enjoyed that. And like a perfect cadence, this is the end.